Don't hold yourself back from having great experiences just because you can't get over yourself. When I was younger, I used to get deja vu all the time. It felt like I was always in the same situation so many different times over and over again. And as I get older, I start to have less deja vu, and I'm like, oh, it just must be a coincidence. But what if it's not a coincidence? What if I just started figuring myself out? What if I started getting over myself? Because the truth is, I got to get over myself. I find that there's too many situations I go into, and I think it's going to be just like the past. We do this to ourselves all the time. Whenever we see someone who looks similar to someone who wronged us in the past, all of a sudden we hate this new person that didn't do anything wrong to us. We do it all the time. Maybe you had a bad breakup with a girl with curly hair. And then you see another girl with curly hair, you're like, yeah, dude, every girl with curly hair is just bad. Like, no. No, every girl with curly hair is not bad. You're tripping. Like, what are you doing? We are so judgmental based off our own experiences. And when you really think about it, it's very selfish. I always tell myself that I'm open minded and everyone has something they can teach me and they can give to me. But even me, saying that to myself all the time, if someone says something or does something similar to something bad I've seen in the past, all of a sudden I look at them differently. And I start really stepping back and I'm like, do I really want to listen to them? I do it. And in some situations, it's a good thing to get yourself out of bad situations. But most of the time, I just haven't got over myself. See, I'm a Christian and I love Jesus. I love talking about God. And I want to read more books. I want to get into literature and philosophy. But I have this wall put up in front of me. Almost like if someone says something that goes against my belief, even if it's not just blatant, I just kind of think, hey, that doesn't really sound similar to that Bible verse I heard. I just discredit them. I think they're not smart, they're unintelligent. I hate that I do that. I was just reading a book a second ago, and this guy was talking about all these values and things he adds to his life as part of his daily routine, and he was seeming like a smart guy, but he was saying some stuff that I was like, that doesn't sound very Christian. I don't know if I want to read this. And then later on in the book, he said, if you believe in God, in parentheses, he put, I do too, we need to take advantage of the life God has given us. And he went on this kind of tangent talking about how God is great and he's given us all these gifts. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, he's a Christian. I can listen to him. And then I really thought, wow, I just judged this author so much. And in my mind, I thought, oh, he's not as good as me because I'm a Christian and he's not. He's not thinking right. The way he's thinking is good, but it's not the right way because it's not a Christian way of thinking. I'm discrediting people based off my beliefs. We discredit people in our lives based off our beliefs of how we think something is going to happen just the way it did in the past. We do it all the time. I find myself in situations all the time where I meet new people and they can do something so small, but I just think of like past traumas or something that bad happened to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this bad thing's gonna happen again. And I know sometimes we can't help that, but I know we can dig deep within ourselves and figure out how to fix that trauma. We just don't want to. It's so scary. See, one of the things I've always struggled with is confrontation. But I know confrontation and addressing a problem is so healthy for anyone. And I used to have a very, very, very bad relationship with alcohol based off what it did to people in my family. And someone that had such a problem with alcohol at one point, I got the courage and asked him about it. And I even told them about the fact that I suck at talking about these things, but I want to get better. And I learned how they're getting so much better. I learned how I have so many things in my life where I just don't want to talk about them because it's too scary. It's so scary to address something that maybe made you feel a certain way. I'm like that all the time. I've had situations in my life, especially when I was younger, that I don't want anyone to talk about because it's a touchy subject. But everything that's a touchy subject, we can fix. We can fix if we do the work to build ourselves into having a better understanding of something, seeing how something built us, and it's not always going to be bad, because I'm a firm believer that success is found in every single experience we went through, even if it was the worst experience ever. If you had the worst experience ever of your life, always, no matter what it is, there's going to be some benefit in that. And most of the time, we only hit the surface level of that benefit. We got to dig deeper in that hole that is so dark and scary, and it makes us itch because we're digging up past traumas. We need to get rid of that. I've been reading this book by David Goggins, and he talks about how he had a block in his physical performance because he did not think he was good enough. He had some past traumas that he went through as a kid that positioned him in his mind to think that he was never, ever going to be good enough. So what did he do? He went back into his past, some of the things that made him think that way. His dad, his mom, some things that he had bad relationships with due to how he grew up, and he fixed them. He had those hard conversations. He did those things that maybe he did when he was a kid, but people told him that he sucked for doing them. He did them, and he saw the benefit out of it. We need to dig into what is causing us to feel so judgmental. Because I hate feeling that way. I hate how my brain can just flip this fight or flight switch on whenever I hear something or I see something. It can get me out of danger, but most of the time, it's my inner battles that I am too scared to fight. It's kind of like people say fighting your inner demons. It's your inner demons. We have so many things in our life that is holding us back from having good conversations and seeing the value in things. I want to read books and literature. I don't want to discredit people or think they're less than me just because they're not a Christian. Because one, that's not even the right way to think as a Christian. And two, I know people are way smarter than me, Christian or not Christian. I don't want someone to do something that I think is going to lead to destruction, and then me realize a couple minutes later that, oh, they didn't mean that in a bad way. No, I have to handle what's making me think that way. What is making me feel this PTSD, this trauma response? I want to get rid of those in my life because it's holding me back from learning, having great relationships, and getting to know people on a deeper level. Sometimes I'll even stop myself from truly getting to know a person just because they do something, they wear something, they say something. I stop myself. I'm holding myself back by not fighting those inner battles. And I can think about those inner battles. I used to be so ashamed of the fact of how I talk and how I write and the fact that there's a gap in my teeth. And that took me truly having to put myself out there, make more videos, hear myself talk, fighting that demon that was telling me I talked terribly, writing terribly. I looked terrible with the gap in my teeth. I had to fight those things and put myself out there more, talk to more people. And when I made more videos, I helped more people. I wrote better as I wrote more things online. And as I talked more people, they said they loved the gap in my teeth. We need to fight these battles, whatever they may be. Maybe it's trauma from being a kid. Maybe it's just a breakup, anything. Don't hold yourself back from having great experiences just because you can't get over yourself. Get over yourself. I'm trying to, and I hope you can join me in this fight. Thank you guys so much for consuming this content, listening, watching, wherever you're getting it from. And I hope you have a blessed day.